How are ya people? I hope you all doing great. I hope you're staying healthy. And in this video, we're gonna do something different. Today, we're gonna geek out over deer hunters training syllabus published recently by National Parks and Wildlife Service. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a card on the screen right now. And if you do know what I'm talking about, let's dive in. Okay, so we have mandatory certification for licensed deer hunters. It's for next season, 2020-2021. Some stats. So first of all, format of the training, 30-hour self-study and participation, 1-day training course workshop, 50 questions, MCQ, and 80% to pass. And then rage test, 12 shots, 3 positions. So that's pretty much follows the format of HCAP certification, and as we know, it is based on HCAP. So no surprises here that similarities will be everywhere. Okay, great. So now let's get into what new hunters need to learn about. So first of all, principles of deer management. Aims and objectives, current problems facing deer in Ireland, methods, population assessment, breeding capacity, call planning, call selection, shooting calendar, record keeping, and PR. And I guess it has to start from principles of deer management. I don't have a problem with that. I am really happy that there is the element of PR, because PR these days is super important for hunters to ensure the future of what we do. And perhaps the one comment I have here is I wouldn't like to see too much emphasis put on the call and planning call. So obviously the principle is right, and everybody should be told, like, well, first you need to know how much animals you have in the area, and you need to assess population dynamics before you can call or you shoot the animals. But the truth is, a majority of young hunters, of new hunters, because that training is meant for new hunters, they're not gonna be planning any calls. They're not gonna be assessing population. They just want to go and shoot deer on a farm. So I think that this can come across as we, right out of the gate, we have something that is irrelevant to 90% of hunters. So whoever gonna be implementing that syllabus, my comment would be, let's not put that much emphasis on planning call, because the majority of first-time deer hunters are not going to be doing any of that. Next, basic deer biology, species recognition for red sika fallow muntjac. Interesting that the muntjac is included here. Species habits and habitat, life cycle, rut, pregnancy, birth, vocalization, antler growth, aging deer tooth and coat changes, all scent glands, identification. So great. Like, to me, that's probably the most interesting part of the whole course and the whole training, just to learn about deer. But that's just me. The interesting thing here is that we have included muntjac, although, well, I've been told that you're more likely to find Bigfoot than muntjac in Ireland. But we know what happened in UK. Muntjac has this tendency to establish itself in the environment and spread. It's an invasive species, and even though maybe at the moment is more likely to meet Bigfoot than muntjac when you're out in the field, I am pretty sure that over time we're going to see more and more muntjacs in Ireland. So inclusion in the species list of muntjac is, I think, very smart, and I like it. Then the next one is deer impacts, and I don't even know why deer impacts has like a special section here. I think that should be included either in deer management principles or in basic deer biology, that subject. And I understand that because it kind of fits a little bit here and a little bit here. Perhaps the thought was to kind of extract it and spend more time on it. But in reality, if I was doing that syllabus, I would include deer impacts into principles of deer management and didn't specify that as a special separate chapter. Next one, carcass handling and disease recognition, bleeding and evisceration, carcass examination, disease recognition, including anthrax, blue tongue, bovine tuberculosis, brucellosis, foot and mouth disease, werewolf fly infestation, and that's it. Notifiable diseases, game meat directive, and so on, carcass preparation, venison joints, etc. Yeah, I think that the major omission here is CWD. Why CWD is not included here is beyond me. And in fairness, on HCAP training, CWD is mentioned, and I think that every deer hunter, everyone should be aware of CWD and how devastating that is. If you think that coronavirus is bad, well, I tell you what, if CWD jumps to humans, that's gonna be absolutely disastrous, because the pathogen stays in the environment and it can stay in the environment for years. And mortality rate is 100%, okay? It's 100%. So, and we know that we already have Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, which is same group of diseases, mad cow's disease. In CWD, man, this is bad. So, not including CWD, even though CWD, well, actually it is in Europe. I think in the herd of caribou, somewhere in the north, it was detected. So it's a major omission, and I would appeal to anyone who's going to be implementing course based on that syllabus, do include CWD. We all, and all hunters needs to be aware, needs to know about it, and we need to do whatever we possibly can to make sure it's not going to spread in Europe. Okay, so that's my comment to that chapter. Next one, deer stalking aids and techniques, use of high seat binoculars, fieldcraft clothing, knives, use of dogs, aiming points, reaction to the shot, and dealing with a wounded animal. All, I have no comments here. This is all common sense, and any hunter needs to know about those things. Next one, deer hunting and the law. Woo, that's probably the most boring, but also one of the most important chapters. Wildlife Act, obviously, definition of hunting, for example, what is hunting, relevant regulations, relevant sections of bird and natural habitat regulation, QLT licensing requirements, firearms legislation, Control of Dogs Act, occupiers liability, and sporting rights. Everything super boring, everything super important. So I have no comments here. Next one, firearm safety and other health and safety. Why it's not called just health and safety, I don't know. So health and safety, safe storage and transportation of firearms and ammunition, including legal requirements. I think here we're gonna talk about receptacle. I know that NARGC is working to specify exactly what's the deal with a closed receptacle. In case you don't know, there's this regulation that if you're traveling to the place where you're going to be hunting, you need to keep your ammunition in a lockable receptacle. And some people think that this is not clear enough what that receptacle is. I personally think it's pretty clear, but again, it's just the interpretation. It's Ireland interpreted requirements from EU, and it was interpreted in kind of odd way. So I believe that is where they're gonna mention that. Then we have a background to shot, loading and unloading, negotiating obstacle, barrel obstruction and misfire, shooting positions and non-firearms risk, knives, dragging carcass, terrain issues, weather, and so on and so forth. I don't have much comments here. I would just say it's a health and safety chapter, while firearm safety and other health and safety, I think that the title is a little bit odd, but hey, that's what it is. And finally, firearm ballistics and zeroing, choice of rifle and ammunition, ballistics, internal, external, and terminal, rifle care, cleaning and maintenance, scope mounts, sling, bipods, etc., and zeroing your rifle. For a lot of people, that is most fun and most interesting chapter, and it's left to the very last part of that training, which is fine. Okay, let's have some fun at the end. and especially for training courses where you will have both MCQ and range tests on the same day, perhaps it just flows nicely that now you're in this zone of firearms and everything related to that. So there's Deer Hunters Training Syllabus. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did and you learned something or you have a comments, leave them below. Follow me on social media and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff, and I see you in the next one.